Hi, everybody. This is Kristen from A Voice and View. Hope you're all doing well out there. My videos are kind of here and there lately. Still waiting for more of the snow to melt. There's flooding going on here and there in certain places, and but my video today is going to be a little different. And it's not to scare you by any means. Definitely not for kids. And I just want to make you aware of this because part of this process of ascension is understanding the dark, understanding the darkness to elevate higher, because awareness is always key. Once you become aware of something, you are less susceptible, of this happening to you. But a lot of this process is understanding darkness and how it works. And the devil is not someone with horns. And, it's not, or the devil is not depicted like in, where it is everywhere, what they show. The devil can be in anyone, spiritually. You might not even recognize the person that you are around, because they might be hiding behind a mask. But this video is definitely not to scare you, but it is also to make you aware of what goes on when you understand spirituality. The truth of how the light and the dark are in us, not just in us all, but how it works in the world. And how you can become less susceptible of the darkness through your awareness. So if your child is watching, do not let them watch this, please. But we need as many people as possible to be aware of this and what is happening. And I'm going to give you a few experiences with this video to show you my understanding. So today's video is called Spirits. And I wish I would have looked this up before I started the video, but I already started it. But I'm pretty sure the movie is called Devil in a Blue Dress. And I'm pretty sure it is. But if you've ever watched this movie, you will understand what I'm talking about. Body jumping. And dark entities can definitely do this. They can definitely do it. I have seen it, experienced it with people close to me. But I'll give you a couple experiences where I have seen entities in other humans. Humans close to me, people close to me. So I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not going to do that. But this is my truth. This is what I have experienced seeing myself. So this was someone very close to me. And we were at his birthday party. And I didn't know how much he was drinking before the birthday party. And we went out to dinner. There was a lot of people at the table. And by this time, he was drunk. He was trashed. And I immediately knew, because at that point I was pretty awake. But I immediately knew something else was working through him. I could see it. I could see it in his eyes. I could see it on his body, his movements, his body movements. Excuse me. His behaviors, what he was saying, how he was acting. But he literally started, I'm going to be mild on this because it was worse than mild. He was hitting on a family member of mine right in front of all of us. He was acting like he wanted to kiss her neck. He was licking his lips. I could see in his facial expressions that there was an entity on him. I could see it with my own eyes. And I can see entities in people. I can see through their eyes. But this one was very obvious. And wouldn't leave her alone. And was doing this in front of everybody at the table. Kept putting his face close to hers, rubbing up against her, being in her hair, eyeing her up like candy in front of all of us, in front of me. Making a scene. And even the waitress was dumbfounded. She didn't know what was going on, but I know she was very upset, very irritated. But this is what happens sometimes when you give entities or spirits a channel to work through. Because, like I have mentioned before, alcohol is called spirits sometimes. You are giving entities a channel to work through. And this is because, or this is because alcohol lowers your frequency. It lowers your frequency, your vibration. Okay? And you got to be very careful on how much you consume, because it changes you. And especially on a what I call a solar return, okay, but used to call a birthday. Because your birthday is a very important day. And this is why you see people acting strangely when they're drunk, when they're trashed. Because entities work through people. And they will do things that they normally wouldn't do. Sometimes it goes pretty far, way beyond what you might think someone will do. And they won't remember it the next day. They'll be totally unaware of their behaviors. So please be mindful of over drinking. I've seen this many times. This is probably the worst I have ever seen it. But the more you drink, you lower your frequency and you stay in that dark energy. Okay, because you let other spirits work through you. And I used to drink, guys. I used to Not at the point of being an alcoholic, but I used to drink, and I could drink. I've done my share in my lifetime. But when you overdrink and you don't remember what you did the next day, that's pretty severe. And you're opening yourself up to problems. I mean, you might end up in jail and won't remember what you did. And everybody's heard, "Oh, I don't remember, I didn't mean to do it, I just don't remember." Because an entity was working through you. That's why. It wasn't you. It was something else. And I didn't know, well, I was pretty shocked when I found this out, guys. When you get so drunk that you black out and you wake up the next day with a severe hangover, could be alcohol poisoning, whatever. Every time you black out from being drunk, you end up with a brain injury, even if you're unaware. This happens, guys. So I'm just making you aware of this kind of thing. So I also want to talk about an experience that I had when I was younger. And at the time, I didn't know what was happening. I was young. I don't remember how old I was. I was probably, well, I guess I wasn't that young. It was either middle school or high school. I'm thinking it was high school. But someone very close to me ended up getting really mad, really angry. I mean, really angry. And a screaming match broke out. And I witnessed it. I was there. And I remember looking up at this person, and both of his eyes were totally black. And I'm not talking about just the the pupils and the actual round part of your eyes. Okay, I'm talking about the entirety of each eye. There was no white at all. Total black. And I looked up at him and I thought, what in the world? And it confused me for a bit that someone could get that mad and that would happen. I didn't understand it at the time, and I just kind of forgot about it over the years. But now that I'm awake, now that I'm seeing things happening around me and understand about entity attachments to people and how spirits work, if you're low vibrational and if you're not awake and if you have a lot of darkness on you and work through dark energy, that you might see this. And for those who understand about that or about this, you know, and you know more than you understand or more than others understand about this detail of when you see someone's eyes turn totally black. If you know, you know. You might want to research this a little bit. I'm not going to mention it here. But what I didn't realize was at the time I was young and unawake, didn't understand why someone's eyes would turn totally black. Now I do. Now I totally do. And spirit helps me see what I need to see and remember what I had seen a long time ago to put the pieces together to put the puzzle pieces together, to understand who's who in the zoo. And, these kinds of situations might be happening in your life, but things that happen like this, okay, it helps you see what's happening around you, with the people around you, that they might be hiding behind a mask. They might be different in the spirit, guys. But I know I've experienced many of these things in my life to understand now what I'm dealing with, what's happening to me, what I can see in other souls, when I can see in their eyes who they are. So if you're not awake and you think all of this is BS, let me tell you, this is my life now, guys. I experience this stuff all the time. I have people coming up to me, trying to get close to me, to be in my energy. And I can look right in their eyes and know what they're doing, trying to siphon my energy. And if you don't understand that, I might have to do another video on that. I have a lot of experience with that stuff happening to me and other people using my energy for their own purposes, their own selfish purposes. But I totally understand about energy, because energy is the real currency. And people that are low vibrational, that don't believe in God, that work in the darkness, they have to use other people's energy that are attached to God. It's a real thing to create with, how do I explain this? They don't believe in the Most High. They might believe in the opposite energy, guys. And they can't create because they don't have that good energy. Okay. So, yeah, they have to siphon others' energy to use in their life. And I have experienced a lot of this throughout my life, not realizing it. And Spirit shows me who's doing it. And I've had to experience this to understand how energy works. Because we all have dark and light energy, but some work more in the dark. Some choose the dark side, guys. I've talked about the Force from Star Wars. Some use energy for good purposes. Others use it for the opposite. It's a real thing. Because God is inside of you. God gives you that energy to create with, to live in abundance. And abundance can be anything. It doesn't just have to be financial. It can be good luck. It could be anything. But there's a lot of us dealing with this, and a lot might not be aware of it that are dealing with it. But God is inside of you, not somewhere outside of you, like everything makes you believe. God works through you. You are part of God. And when you are part of God, you have that good energy. And others that are working in the dark cannot manifest with their, or because they're low vibrational, because they're working in the dark energy. So I want you to be aware of some of these things. And I'm not giving you this information to frighten you, to freak you out. Okay, but it's part of the process. And you probably will be a little frightened, a little scared, because I know I was when I started learning about this stuff. But like I've said in the past, the dark cannot work without the light, and just the opposite. So to understand about the light, you have to understand about the darkness, how the darkness works. Because once you're more aware of how both work, the more you protect yourself. And the more you will come into the light and be attached to God and to awaken the light within you and not live in all that darkness, all the shadows that are on you. You got to do your shadow work. You got to heal yourself from the inside out. Excuse me. And I show you how to do this process because it saved my life, guys. And it's a miracle process. And the more you do it, the more you awaken, the more God will show you what's happening around you, who's in your life, who shouldn't be in your life, to help you come into abundance and get out of lack, the lack energy, the fear energy, being stuck, being stuck in a loop. Will help you create with the new energy that comes in, that activates within you. Okay, because if you're in a low frequency, you're not going to be able to manifest what you want in your life. You're going to be stuck. And I was for a long time, living in that dark energy. I was stuck. But now I know the truth of how energy works. And I've done a 360. I have changed. I'm a completely different person in this process. Completely different person. You have to go through the trials and tribulations. You have to be crucified. You die and you're reborn. The Bible is an ascension process. Please don't take it literally, even though you might have for a very long time or still do. I grew up Catholic, so I understand. I completely changed my beliefs through this process because Spirit has shown me not just about the darkness, but about the light body. Okay, the higher self. I am the higher self, the Spirit. It's amazing, guys. It's so amazing to go through this and understand what is happening right now and to see all the changes in people. Let me tell you, and I'm sure you're all seeing it. People are changing left and right. They're on a low frequency and they can get entity attachments. And the more you drink, I know this is, it might be shocking information for you. It might be new information. It might be old information that you already know. But the more you're aware, the more you learn about how energy works, and the more you understand about activating your light within, especially from healing and forgiving people, okay, you will change your life. You won't stay in depression and anger and revenge energy. Loneliness. I mean, guys, I was so lonely for a long time until I started awakening. And I went into hermit mode, and actually hermit mode is part of the process as well. You will want to get away from everybody to learn information. I was obsessed with information. I wanted to learn everything. But the more you learn, the more you awaken, the more spirit will show you. But you don't feel alone because you have your angels and your spirit guides and your ancestors surrounding you. They are on a different frequency than you are. You may not be able to see them, but they're there. Call on them, ask them for help. Ask your spirit guides to show you the way through, to show you the truth. Because we're all connected. We're all divinely connected, guys. We're a divine collective. We're all part of each other. But they're very aware of what you're doing down here. And if you work more in the dark, then you have to deal with karma, which is the energy that you put out into the world, comes back to you, multiplied. So all of these things that I talk about through spirituality, they're very real. They're 100% real. And you have to understand about them because it protects you. The more you know, the more spirit protects you. The more your ancestors protect you. The more your angels protect you. When you connect, when you have a spiritual connection with God, the Holy Spirit, you raise your frequency. And you will start understanding about the world around you and who you really are. And who everybody else is. Not just about you. But when you experience some of these things, it's part of the learning process. Okay, but it's there to not only to help you awaken, but to protect you. Because if you're unaware of this stuff, you're more susceptible. The more it can happen to you. And you being unaware. You go through this life like you're in a trance. Like you're just down here doing life every day, and it's, you get up, go to work, come home, do a few things, eat dinner, go to bed. No, there's a lot more to life than this. There's spirit. Hello. Keeps coming in. The Son of God, guys. S-U-N, Son of God. Okay. Be aware of these things. And be aware that sometimes, guys, entities can body jump. And I'm serious. Your spirit. Confirmation. Spirit works in many different ways through confirmations, but spirit loves to come in when I'm doing a video. with bright light. So, anyways, guys, so important to be aware of these things, to be aware of what you consume, especially now, especially now. With everything going on, you are more susceptible. If you're not aware of these key things, the more you know will protect you. You have to understand about the dark and the light. Learn. Okay, the occult basically means what's hidden. But you have to learn. You have to understand about the darkness. Okay, and I know Spirit has shown me that I've had to experience the darkness. I had to train in the dark with all of what I've experienced my whole life to help me awaken. And when it came time, that's when I really, really changed. I just kept learning and learning and learning about everything. But there's a lot more going on around you than you realize. So just be aware of others' intentions towards you, of who's in your life, how they're treating you. You know, if they're not treating you right, it's your decision. You have free will. But if you don't make the changes, you're going to stay stuck. Because those energies are going to try to control you, try to scare you, try to keep you in a loop. And you're not going to move forward. You know, it's your choice. But if you're letting someone else control you, you need to make some changes. This process is all about learning about yourself. But you have to have self-respect, self-love, love who you are, understand about who you are and what you're made of, and what strength can come from you. Because you are strong. You're a strong soul. You just have to wake up to realize that you're stronger than you think you are. And you're not meant to stay stuck. So leave what no longer serves you. That could be people, places, things. And I know we all struggle with, things, and I do as well, guys. I still have, some things that I'm dealing with. We all go through these things. It's all part of the learning process. But the more you let go of, the more you rise in consciousness through this Christ consciousness journey. It can be grueling sometimes, guys. It's a slow process sometimes. It took me a long time. But there's many more doing this. Many more in this ascension process to raise your frequency, to change your timeline. You can change your timeline at any time with any big decision you make that will better your life, change your life. You raise your frequency and it's like a radio station. You change your frequency. You can't see it, but it's there. Just like your Wi-Fi. Take the fluoride out of your water, your toothpaste, as much as you can. I don't have this, but eventually I want to get one, but the shower head, guys. Get a new shower head to get the fluoride out of your water. There's so many things that you can research, so many things that you can learn and do and experience through this process of learning about spirituality and about how your life will change in every way, and how you will experience the truth of God and who God is. Spirit, which is I call God Spirit most of the time. But God could be many different names. The Most High, the Almighty, the universe, so many different names. So that's it, guys. I hope you understand a little bit more about spirits. This is, again, not to scare you, but you have to see the darkness before you can see the light. They both work together and become more of the light. I am the light of the world. We're all connected, guys. All right, this is Kristen from A Voice and a View. Peace, love, and light. Love you all. Bye.